It is a good thing that we're alarmed when we should be. There is something wrong with individuals who are not alarmed. There are three different outcomes to alarm. The first one is we're moved to caution. This is the primary purpose of an alarm, to get us out of harm's way. Now, there's many things that we cannot avoid. And so futility is where we cannot change something. A child's life is full of alarming futilities. Grandma's dying. Mom and dad are separating. We're moving. And when we hit that wall of futility, what it's meant to do is when the futility sinks in, it begins a transformation process in us. It changes us. And that is the key to human adaptation. When we're facing things that alarm us, and we can't change them, they fundamentally change us. And if they're going to change us for the better, they change us through the process of deep adaptation or transformation. When the futility sinks in, the amygdala, that same command center for the alarm system, sends signals to the lacrimal glands and the eyes water. And so we've always associated tears with human transformation. When a child finds his tears, it's amazing. You get rest and relief. There's momentary respite. When a child is even very anxious in the wake of tears to something he cannot change, often there's 2 hours of complete freedom from symptoms, even obsessive compulsive symptoms and so on. You see the way the brain is meant to work is we're meant to come to terms with those things we cannot change, and so that the sadness and disappointment is actually an endpoint to alarm. It also builds resilience, and the brain says, oh, this wasn't so big a deal. We survived this. And a child begins to be more resourceful. That is, he's moved to find other ways of dealing with the situation. But what if we don't get to the tears? What if a child doesn't get to the tears? What if there is no safe place to cry? What if a child has been desensitized and has lost his tears? There is yet another possibility. And that possibility I have labeled here courage. Courage. Now, courage is very interesting. In courage, we take up a relationship with alarm. Now, this is very different than adaptation. In adaptation, alarm ends. But when you take up a relationship with alarm, it doesn't end. Alarm is still there. You still feel alarmed, but one example of a relationship would be is that you declare it false. This doesn't stop the nerves from jangling. What it stops is being ordered about by the alarm. Courage is not letting alarm get in your way. This requires mixed feelings. You can't take up a relationship with alarm unless you can feel two things at once. So this means that the child has to be able to say, part of me is really excited about the school play, but part of me is scared as well. Now, in this case, the attributes that go along with this is brave but not foolish. Brave but not foolish. It's foolish when you don't feel alarmed. This is the way the alarm system should work. Now, the whole purpose of talking about the way the alarm system should work is that we're going to compare that alarm system with what happens when we're anxious. But if everything was as it should, we would experience one of these three outcomes. And so with an alarmed child, if everything was going as it should, our basic stance would be to be a traffic director. Okay? We would say, okay, should I help move him to caution? Is this something that is unavoidable? So should I help move him to his tears? Or is this really an issue of courage because he is capable of seeing both a dragon and treasure simultaneously? Now we have our marching orders.